morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start the meeting. Would you please star 6 your phone? Would you please star 6 your phone?
I will need it.
Would everyone?
Whoever's talking about sizes probably needs to mute their phone.
Thank you, Vicki. Mabel, do you want to take roll call?
Sizes of what?
Yes, sir.
Tell them the sizes of what?
Acadia,
Absent.
Acadia 2,
Present.
Andover A,
Present.
Andover
You've been
B,
muted. To unmute yourself, press *6.
can I
You
start
are
it
no
again?
longer muted.
Someone muted me. Okay, I have to start all over again. Acadia,
Absent.
Acadia 2,
Present.
Andover A,
Present.
Andover B,
Present.
Andover C,
Absent.
Andover D,
Present.
Andover E,
Absent.
Andover F,
Absent.
Andover G,
Absent.
Andover H,
Absent.
Andover I,
Absent.
Bedford A,
Absent.
Bedford B,
Absent.
Vicki and O'Brien, that's Vicki, she's absent by proxy, but she's on the line.
Yes, we can't count.
Bedford C,
Present.
Bedford D,
Absent.
Bedford E,
Present.
Bedford F,
Present.
Bedford G,
Present.
Bedford H,
Present.
Bedford J,
Absent.
Brookfield,
Absent.
Cambridge A,
Present.
Cambridge B,
Present.
Cambridge C,
Absent.
Would you folks please mute your phone by pressing star 6?
Someone's typing.
We don't need to hear people typing.
and Cambridge C said present, but
But
he
they
had-
did not turn in a
But if they
proxy.
didn't turn in a proxy, they cannot be considered present.
Okay. Cambridge E,
Present.
Cambridge F,
Absent.
Cambridge H,
Absent.
Cambridge I,
Absent.
Cambridge J,
Absent.
Cambridge K,
Absent.
Cambridge L,
Absent.
Cambridge M,
Present.
Captain Court D,
Present.
Corinne,
Present.
Devonshire,
Present.
Dorchester A,
Present.
Dorchester B,
Present.
Dorchester C,
Present.
Dorchester D,
Absent.
Edinburgh,
Present.
Fairborn,
Present.
Fairfield A,
Present.
Fairfield B,
Absent.
Fairfield C,
Present.
Fairfield D,
Present.
Fairfield E,
Present.
Fairfield F,
Absent.
Fairfield G,
Present.
Fairfield H,
Present.
Gloucester A,
Absent.
Gloucester B,
Present.
Gloucester C,
Absent.
Gloucester D,
Absent.
Gloucester E,
Present.
Gloucester F,
Present.
Gloucester G,
Present.
Gloucester H,
Absent.
Gloucester J,
Absent.
Gloucester K,
Present.
Gloucester L,
Present.
Gloucester M,
Present.
Gloucester N,
Absent.
Gloucester P,
Absent.
Grantham,
Present.
Highgate A,
Absent.
Highgate B,
Present.
Highgate C,
Present.
Highgate D,
Present.
Highgate E,
Present.
Highgate F,
Present.
Highgate 2,
Absent.
Highgate 3,
Present.
Highgate 4,
Present.
Huntington,
Present.
Idlewood,
Present.
Inverness,
Present.
Jameson,
Present.
Kensington,
Present.
Knowles 1,
Absent.
Knowles 2,
Present.
Knowles 3,
Absent.
Lancaster 1,
Present.
Lancaster 2,
Present.
Lancaster 3,
Present.
Lancaster 4,
Absent.
Lyndhurst,
Absent.
Manchester 1,
Absent.
Manchester 2,
Present.
Manchester 3,
Present.
Manchester 4,
Absent.
Maplewood,
Present.
Nantucket 1,
Absent.
Nantucket 2,
Present.
Nantucket 3,
Present.
Nantucket 4,
Present.
Nantucket 5,
Absent.
Oakley Green,
Present.
Oxford 1,
Present.
Oxford 2,
Present.
Portsmouth,
Present.
Princeton,
Present.
Quail Pass,
Present.
Radisson 1,
Present.
Radisson 2,
Present.
Richmond,
Present.
Somerset,
Present.
Southampton 1,
Present.
Southampton 2,
Present.
Tremont 1,
Present.
Tremont 2,
Present.
Villeroy,
Present.
Feel better?
Worlington,
Present.
Yorkshire.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum of 71.2% with 3,932 units with 74 associations.
Don't leave. Thank you very much. Call the meeting to order. Can we all rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into the regular business of the meeting, is District 8 had a special election to fill the remaining term. of Bill Rabb's seat, which will expire at the end of March in 2022. The election by District 8 is completed. The votes were tallied yesterday, and Doug Bergmoser was elected to serve that remaining term, and he is here in the meeting with us today and has assumed the seat as of this morning to fill that. So welcome aboard, Doug, and congratulations. First item on the agenda is the approval of, you ready, Maribel? The membership meeting minutes for the September 18th membership meeting. Do you want to take the count on that from Janice?
Okay.
So that's the first column, and I'm just putting yes or no.
Yes or no.
Okay.
Okay. So Acadia 2,
Yes.
Andover A,
Yes.
Andover B,
Yes.
Andover D,
Yes.
Bedford C,
Yes.
Bedford E,
Yes.
Bedford F,
Yes.
Bedford G,
Yes.
Bedford H,
Yes.
Cambridge A,
Yes.
Cambridge B,
Yes.
Cambridge E,
Yes.
Cambridge M,
Yes.
Canton Court D,
Yes.
Corinth,
Yes.
Devonshire,
Yes.
Dorchester A,
Yes.
Dorchester B,
Yes.
Dorchester C,
Yes.
Edinburgh,
Yes.
Fairborn,
Yes.
Fairfield A,
Yes.
Fairfield C,
Yes.
Fairfield D,
Yes.
Fairfield E,
Yes.
Fairfield G,
Yes.
Fairfield H,
Yes.
Gloucester B,
Yes.
Gloucester E,
Yes.
Gloucester F,
Yes.
Gloucester G,
Yes.
Gloucester K,
Yes.
Gloucester L,
Yes.
Gloucester M,
Yes.
Grantham,
Yes.
Highgate B,
Yes.
Highgate C,
Yes.
Highgate D,
Yes.
Highgate E,
Yes.
Highgate F,
Yes.
Highgate 3,
Yes.
Highgate 4,
Yes.
Huntington,
Yes.
Idlewood,
Yes.
Inverness,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kensington,
Yes.
Knowles 2, abstain,
Abstain.
Lancaster 1,
Yes.
Lancaster 2,
Yes.
Lancaster 3,
Yes.
Manchester 2,
No.
Manchester 3,
Yes.
Maplewood,
Yes.
Nantucket 2,
Yes.
Nantucket 3,
Yes.
Nantucket 4,
Yes.
Oakley Green,
Yes.
Oxford 1,
No.
Oxford 2,
Yes.
Portsmouth,
Yes.
Princeton,
Yes.
Quail Pass,
Yes.
Radisson 1,
Yes.
Radisson 2,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Somerset,
Yes.
Southampton 1,
Yes.
Southampton 2,
Yes.
Tremont 1,
Yes.
Tremont 2,
Yes.
Villeroy,
Yes.
Burlington,
Yes.
and Yorkshire.
Yes.
Mr. President, you have 94% of yes and 6% no, with 3,656 count of yes and 232 counts of no, with 71 association with yes and 2 associations with no.
Okay, thank you. Now you can go back to your.
State that.
Now do the manager reports, and I'm gonna call on Keith from First Service to do his report.
Thank you. Morning again, everybody. That's the First Service Management Report for October 16th for the membership meeting. Again, just to note that all Federation directors presently sitting on the board are current owners of the condominium parcels or single-family dwellings in their district they represent, and we verify, based on the public information, our records, that they are official. Just a couple quick notes. Again, the year-end tax returns have been received back. We're just waiting on 2 associations to sign theirs, and all those will be completed. If any board members want a copy of those, we can issue those at any time. Our office operations are still running under the COVID guidelines set in place from July 6th when we opened the lobby. So we're just going to continue to use precaution and use those guidelines until further notice. And again, please utilize our Dropbox outside of our office for any items, monthly checks, applications, anything you really need, you can drop in there, or feel free to pop in the office and hand it to the front staff ladies. Again, pest control appointments can be scheduled by calling in and hitting option number 2 on the phone. And if you need your CAMS assistance, just please feel free to reach out to them by phone or email. And we can take care of anything you need, or meet you at the property, or utilize our conference room for a quick meeting if needed. Please let us know. Please reach out to us if you got something going on. Administration, this is again statistics from September. We did 46 transfer applications, we did 38 leases, we did 646 pest control calls, had almost 1,000 walk-ins into the lobby. We did 437 notary services, 37 orientations. We've updated 65 emergency contact sheets. We've issued out 33 violation letters for the associations. We've approved almost 200 invoices through Avid, and we've drawn up 9 new contracts for the associations. Annual meetings, all the draft agendas for the association's annual meetings have been received back. All the meeting rooms have been set, so we appreciate Vesta's help in coordinating all that. And again, we're still using an abundance of cautions and the COVID guidelines, so for right now, the meeting rooms will be reduced down, and more information will be sent out with the first mailing package, as well as any updates moving forward. Budgets, First Service continues to gather information for next year's budgets. Again, these include everything with reserve projects for the associations, all of your bulk contracts with the Federation, and any other yearly maintenance items. The tentative schedule for next month, the budgets for the associations will be available for pickup on November 17th. Starting at 10 a.m. that morning. So that's the first day the associations can come in and grab their budgets and start reviewing those and discussing any information with myself, Debbie Lauber, or any of the CAMs. November 20th will be the full budget PowerPoint presentation presented by First Service Investment Management. And December 9th is we're asking all the budgets must be signed and returned back to our office by the end of business day, and that just allows us time to compile that information, load into our system, then get ready for the first notice mailings for your annual meetings. Insurance items, all the new insurance policies have been reviewed and budget figures have been received for next year's figures. USI, the new agency, and the two agents, Brian and Adam, will be at the November 20th membership meeting, and they're going to go over a couple slides in the budget presentation, just kind of giving the background on the outlook on insurance and the new budget numbers. In addition, we're going to be running a insurance town hall with that group. Adam and Brian are at USI. We're tentatively set it for January 14th. And it will be in the Veterans Theater. We were going to send out some information on that and a couple topics we're looking to discuss. It'll obviously be based on insurance, so a lot of good information there. If you can attend that, please do so. And again, the next insurance committee meeting will be in February. I think the insurance committee has done a really good job with coordinating with the agents, getting budget information, asking a lot of questions, everything from hurricane deductibles to additional insurance and just where the market's heading. So I really commend the insurance committee and their efforts working with the USI. Pest control services, the pest control contact continues to meet the 3-day appointment requirements. We will be seeing probably 2 technicians used more days coming up as more residents come back and pest control calls increase. Community Promotions Committee, a new website revamp RFP was emailed out to 5 vendors at the end of September. Yesterday we received back several of those proposals, and the Community Promotions Committee will be reviewing those proposals and taking the next steps to present to the membership. Again, the landscape, excuse me, Ryan Work has started to take several of his tests to become recertified in horticulture and urban forestry, so he'll have all of his certifications by the end of this month. We've also acquired some new software to use for reporting on landscape inspections, and we really do think it's going to add a lot of value to just managing the landscape vendors and improving the quality of the landscape throughout the community. Really nice software. It tracks a lot of stuff, lots of pictures for the landscape vendors to follow, items that he's identifying. So it's a really nice feature coming out, and we're really happy to be able to utilize it. OLM inspections, the next OLM inspections are October 26th, 27th, 28th. And again, the sections 2 and 4 with Down to Earth, their contracts are up at the end of March 31st, 2021. So that is in revisions with the Landscape Committee, and they're working through updating those contracts.
Keith, that's for a 1-year extension.
Sorry, yeah, and one is, those are up for a 1-year extension on those contracts. And again, that idea is to line up all of the landscape vending contracts to renew all in the same year. Palm and oak tree trimming, Grove Inc. has been out trimming palm trees, and they'll be here for several more weeks as they work their way through the community. The Palm and Oak Tree Committee was merged with the Landscape Committee recently due to the resignation of Bill Robb. We've been working on improving the oak tree and palm tree contracts. A lot of good discussions come out of that, and we are very confident that the new procedures on the trimming, which should hopefully start next year, will benefit the palm and hardwood trees throughout the community, as well as adding value. We are going to be getting additional bids on these revisions to these palm and oak tree contracts, so it won't just be with Grove. We're going to at least have 2 or 3 other bids to just kind of compare prices based on the new procedures and guidelines. Mulch, the mulch has been completed. We're in the midst of doing follow-ups and punch-outs and some reorders. We understand that there's been some changes with the mulch this year that many folks weren't didn't experience last year. We are going to be sending out a mulch survey. Again, this is please give us your comments and feedbacks. Ryan and myself are going to be looking to kind of redo and reformat how the mulch is done and improve it next year. And any feedback, we've already gotten a good deal, but any additional feedback would be great because we want to make sure that the mulch is done right, efficient, and looks nice. So, work orders for the month of September. Again, there was only 24 work orders submitted for September throughout the 4 sections, and the average days to complete those was 2.5 days. And again, just a quick note that we always have our after-hours emergency line for anything really. Just give it a buzz after hours. They will get a hold of myself or Rebecca if I don't answer for some reason, or your CAM, and we'll be able to at least call you back and address any concerns you have, and at least figure out what's going on and implement the procedure to help you get it corrected. And that's all I have for today. Any questions?
Yes, before you leave,
Yeah.
and Ginger, could you come up to the front of the room? As the budget presentations are very important to all of the associations, and it's not an official meeting, it's a slide presentation, is there any reason that we could not work to do a couple meetings, 2 or 3 meetings in the theater, and segment the associations and give them a time to do the budget presentation, so they have a lot of visual, and it allows them to be more in person and interact with the insurance committee and Keith on the budget, so they have, because it's for the presidents and treasurers. Is there any reason you see that we could not arrange something like that in the theater? And Keith, I'm asking you the same
No, I'm happy.
question. It might work a little better than trying to do a video on the screen here,
Yeah.
and those.
November 20th,
It's
right?
November 20th.
So we could work on staggering how many groups at a time, and we'll make
Yeah.
sure the room's available
Yeah,
for
we can do that.
2 or 3 sessions.
Okay, well, just get confirmation from the board that that's what
What you want to
we
do.
want to do. I just wanted to know if that was an option, which would help the presidents and their treasurers understand the budget, because there are going to be some major changes within the budget between the trust and specifically the insurance, so
Yeah.
they'll have a lot more
No, it made
capability.
sense when he introduced it. I thought the same thing. How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you afterwards.
You're up, Ginger.
All right, thank you. I apologize to the board. I was so busy printing out something Jack asked me to do, I forgot to bring me my report.
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
That's good, Ginger.
Blame it on him. However, it's the same numbers from the board report, so we'll go through these again for the membership. On the administrative side, the 2021-22 trust budget has been presented and approved by the Federation Board, and just wanted to take a moment to thank the RFEC and the Federation Board for their significant amount of time in reviewing budget for a very unpredictable future year. So it was a little tedious, but we did appreciate all the feedback we got, and that was a wonderful addition to what we think is a fair and reasonable budget. On the operations side, usage for September, we averaged still about 780 visits per day to the facilities. People have asked, well, who's actually out there using them? Plenty of people. We're just shy of 25,000 visitors for the month of September, and that's already increasing. For fitness and spa usage, we were just under 5,000 for gym usage for the month of September. And in the spa and salon, we did over 21,000 in revenue for 691 services. Believe it or not, that's 12.5% increase over the same month prior year, which in a COVID year is incredible. Food and beverage for our dine-in services and portico pickup, we served 4,052 patrons, which was a 14.5% increase over the prior month, showing people are getting more comfortable and coming back out. Just under 54,000 in sales for September, which that pales in comparison to a prior year, so I won't even depress you with that number. On the projects, we have the South Club Pool Expansion Project we've been working on with the RFEC and its ad hoc committee. We had a conference call to finalize the conceptual design for the project, including the estimated budget. We received an architect's revised site plan. There's still a few missing items. We've scheduled a second site visit to confirm the revisions. And after these changes, we'll make the final corrections to the budget, and then we'll bring those back and discuss those with the board and see if they'd like to move forward with that project. On the South Club men's and ladies locker room renovation project, take note, the project start date will be Monday, October 26th. Signage will be posted at the South Club this week, but as a reminder to residents, if you are down there using the clubhouse, to please consider, when you need to use the restroom, using the cabana restroom out at the pool, or the lobby restroom, and the loft restroom when using the main clubhouse, because those locker room restrooms will be closed. It will be a lengthy project, and we don't know what they're gonna find when they pull the walls down with some water damage, so we're not going to give you a time frame yet until they get in there and start working, but we will keep you updated. The tennis court resurfacing project will begin for courts 1 and 2 on October 26th as well. That project is slated for about 7 to 10 days, weather permitting. On special events, the state of Florida remains in phase 3. We continue to develop our plans for a safe and manageable reopening strategy, with the priority always being on the health and safety of the Kings Point residents. Various communities have and will continue to be distributed on the amenities programs as we continue to monitor the cases in the surrounding area. But remember, while many amenities are opening and many are reopening and available for resident usage, we are still limiting this only to Kings Point residents, and masks are still required when entering the facility and moving about the common areas. No guests at this time still. Flex and Flow and Sit and Get Fit classes will begin on Tuesday, October 20th in the Veterans Theater, and we will have physical distancing and capacity limitations there. The classes will be offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Reservations are recommended. You can sign up with Sign Up Genius or calling the reservation line, and additional classes will be coming after we review the success of this initial pilot format. The upcoming presidential elections on November 3rd will be held in the theater as agreed to by the Supervisor of Elections. Not sure what time those start, but Matt says more information will be distributed on that. 7 a.m.? Okay. Open air concert, we're looking forward to the upcoming 2 shows. If you recall, we got rained out on the prior concert dates, so we're gonna try October 20th. There's a 2:30 show and a 5:30 show. Both shows are completely booked. Residents can look forward to some entertainment in a nice, safe environment with Chef Mark's Tacos and Kona Ice Truck out there. Reminder that participants will need to follow the instructions of staff with regard to distancing and safety protocols. In tram services, we had over 2,125 miles driven by the trams with a ridership of 1,600. In the gate security operations, we had about 11,200 passes issued for the month of September. Those numbers also beginning to climb. We weren't sure about snowbird season, but we are seeing people coming back. You can probably note the license plates out there. You know, you see a lot more Michigan than New York and Pennsylvania. Grand total issued to date on decals at the gate, 10,275. And we had 36 incident reports issued. And during the month of September, over 5,800 card swipes at the golf cart gate, averaging just shy of 200 golf cart entries a day. Reminder, though, although we are slowly moving KP into phase 3, we call it phase 0.25 here, COVID is still a very real illness. Please remember to stay apart, wash your hands, and most importantly, wear your mask when you're around people.
One question.
Yes.
And I know you were delayed because you were doing something for me. Can you provide a copy of the report to the board members and also
I will, yeah.
to Ma Bell, so it's included in the minutes?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. We'll go to committee reports, and I'll call on Dave from Tree and Landscape. Do you have anything to report?
Yes. I'd like to amplify Keith's comments on the palm and tree contract. Currently, we're looking to revise what's been done in the past. We're looking now to have a deep trim on the oak trees and really dig deep into the trees and clean them out. And we're going to do this, we're looking at maybe over the course of 3 years. But over the long term, that'll benefit the trees as well as just the aesthetics of the trees. The second thing is we're trying to incorporate a monthly callback to Grow or whoever the contractor will be, so that they can come back 2 weeks a month and trim the fronds that are dead or are on the buildings. And we think that's going to be a good thing to incorporate in the contract. Right now, Grow has submitted their quote to us. We are looking at 2 or 3 other companies to see if we can get a better competitive bid. Right now, we're looking at a modest increase in price, but we'll see where it goes. But I just wanted to let everybody know that we are looking at having somebody on premises to trim the palm trees.
Do we need to stand up?
It would be better if you walked over to the phone, Rick. Yes.
Good morning, all. Keith went over the latest information on the RFPs for the website. Another item that we looked at, the University of South Florida has been contacted to see if they would be interested in having a class study dealing with the future needs and wants of the 55-year-old and above due to the problem we're having in these changing times. They expressed a desire to do that, and 2 of the people that will be on the study group were here yesterday to do a tour of Kings Point, along with a member of Mark Neckus, who's the individual chair of this for the Community Promotion Committee. The real estate people in the area have been contacted, the companies in the area have been contacted to get together for a meeting, a joint meeting, so that we can discuss real estate problems and keep ourselves up to date on what's going on at Kings Point and in their real estate market. We've received a response from all but 2. The next step would be to set up a meeting with them. And now that we're in phase 3, we're hopefully going to be able to set that meeting up in person. That's it. Thank you.
Doreen, anything?
Nope.
Dan?
Yes.
Keep it short.
Hold on. Be sure. The contract committee has been working with Vesta on a new management contract, and I'm pleased to say that we have reached an agreement in principle, and I hope to have the final documents from the attorney today, in which case they will be brought to the board at the next board meeting. That's it.
Thank you, Dan. Alan?
Nothing at this time.
Ryan?
Just to reiterate, welcome to Doug on the board. Everything's good.
Janice?
Yep. Just to kind of go along with what Keith said, the insurance committee did meet, and we are working with USI on getting a proposed budget. If you've been listening to the news at all, you know that all of the insurance rates everywhere are going up. This increase is due to the number of hurricanes. We're even into the Greek alphabet now, which has not happened. We're also having wildfires out west, the floods in Texas and down in the New Orleans area. COVID-19, even things around the world affect the insurance rates, which we have no control over. So just giving you a heads up for your budgeting, for the associations, that there will probably be a slight increase in the insurance. Just something to think about. Thank you.
I guess that takes it to me now. I only have a couple things. Again, welcome, Doug. Before I get to Doug, Dan, I want to thank you and Vesta both for the work you did on putting together the Vesta contract. I know that it is a positive result on that contract, and I look forward to your presentation to the board to understand all the ins and outs that you were able to arrange. So thank you, and thank you, Ginger, for the work that you both put in on that. Doug, one of your responsibilities on the board is to assume some committee chairs. And I'm going to be appointing you to the chair of the Oak and Palm Committee. I'm quite sure that Dave will work with you, bring you up to date, and also that Keith will work with you and bring you up to date. Dave, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for you stepping up and taking over after Bill's resignation, the Tree and Palm Committee, and all the work that you and First Service has done on it. And with your appointment, I am, as you remember, I suspended the Palm and Tree Committee. I am going to reinstitute the committee. I know you have a lot of work on your plate, Dave, with the contracts coming up. I figured that you could work with Doug, bring him up to date, and then turn it totally over to him. But thank you for your work on it.
Thank you, and I'm more than happy to work with you, Doug. Welcome aboard.
And basically, that is all I have. And I will open up the line for open forum and comment. If you want to speak, please *6. And then after you're done speaking or have your question answered, would you *6 again to mute your phone? Any comments on open forum? Hearing no one having any comments on open forum, we will move to the business. There is no unfinished business, so we'll move directly to the new business. And the first item in new business is the Waste Connections contract. I would just like to clarify for different associations who have requested is why was that contract sent out for approval by all the presidents? As it is a federation contract, the current process and procedures are to take all federation contracts out to the membership for their approval. The Federation Board has looked at possibly changing that process so those affected by a contract would be the ones who would be approving the contract. And to give you an example of, Section 1 would vote for their landscape contract, Section 2 would vote for theirs, and 3 and 4. So the entire community wasn't voting for a given section. But we are investigating that. The Waste Connection contract is generally, and this one is, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 6-year contract, 5-year contract, but thank you. So it isn't a contract that we do on a regular basis. They are the Waste Connection, no pun intended, company that is authorized by the county to collect trash for those who have bins. That's a contract that people have with the county. Dumpsters are considered commercial, and therefore we have to do a contract for those associations who have dumpsters.
That's correct.
Okay, so having no discussion, I would, there was a motion made in the, there was a motion made within the proxy to approve the Waste Connections contract. And Mabel, I will let you call for the vote.
Mr. President,
Yes?
this is David Whitmore, KTU2. As you know, I wrote a letter on this, and I still am of the opinion that we need to look back in history, because the last time this contract was put up forward, there were two things different. Number one, only 69 associations voted on it. The second thing was that there was an addendum to the contract that stated who was in the contract, who was out of the contract. There were 44 that were out and 69 that were in. I think that this contract is incorrect, and I don't believe we should all be voting on it. Thank you.
You're welcome, Dave. Ma Bell?
Yes, sir. I'll start with the Waste Connection. I'll start with Acadia 2,
No.
Andover A,
Yes.
Andover B,
Yes.
Andover D,
No.
Bedford C,
Yes.
Bedford E,
Yes.
Bedford F,
Yes.
Bedford G,
Yes.
Bedford H,
Yes.
Cambridge A,
Yes.
Cambridge B,
Yes.
Cambridge E,
No.
Cambridge M,
Yes.
Canton Court D,
Yes.
Corinth,
Yes.
Devonshire,
Yes.
Dorchester A,
Yes.
Dorchester B,
Yes.
Dorchester C,
Yes.
Edinburgh,
Yes.
Fairborn,
Yes.
Fairfield A,
Yes.
Fairfield C,
Yes.
Fairfield D,
Yes.
Fairfield E,
Yes.
Fairfield G,
Yes.
Fairfield H,
Yes.
Gloucester B,
Yes.
Gloucester E,
Yes.
Gloucester F,
Yes.
Gloucester G,
Yes.
Gloucester K,
Yes.
Gloucester L,
Yes.
Gloucester M,
Yes.
Grantham,
Abstain.
abstain, or there's a mark?
NA.
There's an NA, oh, he marked, did she mark the no?
And then looks like it's crossed out and
It's
then
marked.
NA. So it is marked? No.
Highgate B,
Yes.
Highgate C,
Yes.
Highgate D,
Yes.
Highgate E,
Yes.
Highgate F,
Yes.
Highgate 3,
Yes.
Highgate 4,
Yes.
Huntington,
No.
Idlewood,
Yes.
Inverness,
Yes.
Jameson,
No.
Kensington,
No.
Knowles 2,
No.
Lancaster 1,
Yes.
Lancaster 2,
Yes.
Lancaster 3,
Yes.
Manchester 2,
No.
Manchester 3,
Yes.
Maplewood,
Yes.
Nantucket 2,
No.
Nantucket 3,
Yes.
Nantucket 4,
Yes.
Oakley Green,
Yes.
Oxford 1,
No.
Oxford 2,
Yes.
Portsmouth,
Yes.
Princeton,
No.
Quail Pass,
Yes.
Radisson 1,
Yes.
Radisson 2,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Somerset,
Yes.
Southampton 1,
Yes.
Southampton 2,
Yes.
Tremont 1,
Yes.
Tremont 2,
Yes.
Villeroy,
Yes.
Worlington,
Yes.
Yorkshire.
Yes.
Mr. President, you have 81.4% yes with 3,200 count with 62 association, and you have 18.6% no with 732 count with 12 association.
Thank you, Mabel. You can stay where you are. Alan, did you want to cover anything on the 2021 budget? I know you gave the presentation at the board meeting, and that presentation has been on the video, on the TVs for the last couple of months, and the budget was sent out to all the members within the packet. So do you have anything you want to add to it?
I don't really, only that there was a lot of detail in the budget that was sent out, so hopefully people had a chance to review it and understand it. I don't need to go over it all down.
Okay. Mabel, do you want to take the vote count
Yes, sir.
on the budget?
For the Federation budget 2021-2022. Okay. Acadia 2,
No.
Andover A,
Yes.
Andover B,
Yes.
Andover D,
No.
Bedford C,
Yes.
Bedford E,
Yes.
Bedford F,
Yes.
Bedford G,
Yes.
Bedford H,
Yes.
Cambridge A,
Yes.
Cambridge B,
Yes.
Cambridge E,
Yes.
Cambridge M,
Yes.
Canton Court D,
Yes.
Corinth,
Yes.
Devonshire,
Yes.
Dorchester A,
Abstain.
Dorchester B,
Yes.
Dorchester C,
Yes.
Edinburgh,
No.
Fairborn,
Yes.
Fairfield A,
Yes.
Fairfield C,
Yes.
Fairfield D,
Yes.
Fairfield E,
Yes.
Fairfield G,
Yes.
Fairfield H,
Yes.
Gloucester B,
Yes.
Gloucester E,
Yes.
Gloucester F,
Yes.
Gloucester G,
Yes.
Gloucester K,
Yes.
Gloucester L,
Yes.
Gloucester M,
Yes.
Grantham,
No.
Highgate B,
Yes.
Highgate C,
Yes.
Highgate D,
Yes.
Highgate E,
Yes.
Highgate F,
Yes.
Highgate 3,
Yes.
Highgate 4,
Yes.
Huntington,
Yes.
Idlewood,
Yes.
Inverness,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kensington,
No.
Knowles 2,
No.
Lancaster 1,
Yes.
Lancaster 2,
Yes.
Lancaster 3,
Yes.
Manchester 2,
No.
Manchester 3,
Yes.
Maplewood,
Yes.
Nantucket 2,
No.
Nantucket 3,
Yes.
Nantucket 4,
Yes.
Oakley Green,
Yes.
Oxford 1,
No.
Oxford 2,
Yes.
Portsmouth,
Yes.
Princeton,
Yes.
Quail Pass,
Yes.
Radisson 1,
Yes.
Radisson 2,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Somerset,
Yes.
Southampton 1,
Yes.
Southampton 2,
Yes.
Tremont 1,
Yes.
Tremont 2,
Yes.
Villeroy,
Yes.
Worlington,
Yes.
Yorkshire.
Yes.
Hopefully, we won't have to do this much longer.
Mr. President, you have 84.5% yes with a count of 3,304 and with 64 associations. And you have 15.5% no, 606 counts with 9 associations.
Thank you, so the motion has passed.
Ryan with Bedford A and Andover I. I did not hear our votes counted, and we will submit them on October 5th via email, so the proxies were submitted.
I'll double check.
So make sure you got that.
I will double check.
We will double check, but the motion has passed, so the,
That was for both the budget and the waste contract.
what did you say, Vicki?
She did that.
I said that the proxies were for both, well, for all three, the minutes, the waste contract, and the,
Yeah, Ma Bell will,
on the same page on October 5th.
yep, Ma Bell will check that for you, and if they are found, the vote totals will be corrected. But the vote is sufficient that regardless of the votes being added, if those proxies are found, both the Waste Connection contract and the Federation budget for 21-22 has been approved. Dan Armstrong, are you on the phone?
I am, just needed to unmute.
Okay, would you like to do a review, a high-level review of the audited land trust report for the fiscal year ending 2020?
March 31st, 2020.
Yes.
I thought I was presenting to you today. I could do either, but I need a moment to get it from you.
I thought it was Q1.
So,
It's Q1.
No, but he's also doing the year-end, the
Audit,
audit,
last year's audit.
the audited year-end report.
While he's getting ready, I can tell you that the board reviewed 15 auditing companies
It's not important.
prior to picking this new auditor.
Well, the audited report has already been accepted, so.
Yeah, well, information.
Are you ready, Dan?
yeah, you want me to refer right to the contract, not our internal results?
That's correct, the audited finances.
Okay, very good. Sure, does everybody have a copy of the audit report?
The board does here, I do not believe the membership does though. That's why I just want you to do a high level one.
Sure, very high level. Well, of course, since I'm not an active CPA, nor was I a preparer on this, I'll be careful not to refer to it as my work or anything like that. But in general, the external auditors have prepared an audit report that includes a verbal report, basically stating that they affirm the information that management provided us after testing. We go through very briefly referring to the kinds of testing that they perform, the controls that they look at, et cetera, to do that. And then there's 4 pages that have the financial statements themselves on there. It's generally 2 years to look at, last year and prior year. Again, and they are the same that we is quarterly, except where they also include a financial statement that's not very commonly used internally, what we call it, statement of cash flows. And then there's about 4 pages of footnotes. The footnotes are meant to basically supplement the numbers, turn the numbers into meaningful information for non-financial people. And vice versa. The CPA firms insist on including those notes with the financial statements in the report in its totality, so that you can take them on the whole as opposed to just the financials. But so I will briefly go through the 4 pages of financial results, or maybe 3 pages, excuse me, of financial results. It ends on page 3.
Dan,
Yes, sir.
if you just want to do the high level, which is generally on page 1, feel free, you don't have to go into the total breakdown.
Okay. You said page 1 though, we're talking about page 3 of the audit report, correct?
Yeah, it just has the assets, total cash, the current assets, the fixed assets, total assets.
Okay, I will do that. So, the statement of financial position is laid out just like the one that we present quarterly, pretty much. They do have a current asset section that includes assets, accounts receivables, and with the subtotal. The total current assets are up to $1.7 million from $1.46 million at the same time the prior year. Your restricted cash going downwards is basically the combination of all your reserves. That is your capital reserves, your replacement reserves, and your debt service reserves. That number is about $3.7 million at the end of the year, up from 3.3. So those are both good movements. Then, of course, it includes the property and equipment section, where it delineates your land, building equipment, furniture, etc. I won't read all those numbers, but your assets on a net basis, after the year's depreciation was posted, decreases by about $800,000. That means the annual depreciation was greater in the amount that you spent on new investments this year by that amount. Then you have your long-term lease section, which is the remaining unamortized value of the long-term leases that were acquired back in 2007. It shows the initial value and the accumulated amortization as a negative number with a subtotal. That is now $16.815 million, remaining down $327,000 from the prior year. All right, at the bottom half of your statement of financial position shows your liabilities and your equity. Just very briefly, because there's not a lot of change there, the total current liabilities is down by about $60,000 from the same time last year. That's a very small change, mostly just from accounts payable being low this year because of COVID. We had fewer outstanding bills at the end of the March than we did last year. And then there's a section that shows your long-term debt. You can see how that has gone down year to year by the amortized principal payments that you made during the year. And of course, your total assets, at the very bottom of the page, your total liabilities and equity agrees to the subtotal that's at the middle of the page, the total assets, because that's why they call it a balance sheet. The 2 sections balance with each other.
Okay, thank you, Dan, I appreciate it. That gives a high level. If anybody would like a copy of it, they can request a copy of it in writing to Ma Bell, and she will provide, and it is a proprietary document, and it is only for the use of the recipient. And Ma Bell will provide, I can tell you that the audited financial, Dan, how many pages is it?
28, I believe.
21 pages.
21 pages, but if someone would like it, it has already been provided to one resident within Kings Point who asked for the previous years and also the 2018. They have been provided that, and I just checked with Ma Bell, and he was in the office and requested the audited statement. So if any president, I believe The one president who previously requested it was Susan Rava, and I don't know if you're on the phone, but Susan, if you stopped in the office, I'm quite sure that Ma Bell would be glad to give you a copy of it. Correct, Ma Bell, she did request it, so.
I'm fine.
Pardon?
There's Susan.
Susan, what'd you say? Okay, so if you stop in, Ma Bell has a bound copy for you. As the auditor gave us a few copies that were bound, we'd be more than glad to give you one of the bound ones, which is nicely bound, Susan. So just stop in and she will give you a copy of it. Now, Dan, would you like to go over and I know everybody is really interested in the first quarter results, which cover from April 1st through June 30th. There has been a lot of discussion about credits for the facilities being closed and things such as that. So Dan, if you would take a few moments and go over the first quarter land trust results, I would appreciate it.
Sure. Okay, if you turn in your packet, go ahead and start on page 1, and I'll keep this real high level, especially on the balance sheet, so that we can talk about the operating results in a little more detail and not go over time. Cash, that top section of your report on the first page, did decrease by $233,000 for the quarter. There were two significant changes in those top two line items. Most of that is just a reclassification. You can see there was a movement of $539,000 and change from the operating line into the operating reserves. This is us separating out for the first time at the request of the board a line item that is actually delineated in the trust agreement. It's a defined term, for those of you who know contract language, that says that all prior year cumulative excesses or positive variances to budget shall be defined operating reserves. And those are at board discretion to use however you want, whether it's for capital replacements, capital improvements, or to fill deficits. So anyway, so that's the explanation of that line item that's shown for the first time for a lot of you who are looking. See, going on down the balance sheet, there's not much change in other current assets. You've got your typical bounce upward in prepaid that we always have every May, May 1st or April 30th. Remember, we prepay a year's worth of insurance policy, so it's prepaid, you got a large balance. And there's no change in fixed assets for the quarter, so no reason to dwell on that. We do that at the end of the year. We do make improvements all year long, but we leave them in the operating results page so that you can compare them to the budget for those projects, and then we'll capitalize them at the end of the year. Current liabilities, and it's on the second half of the page now, there's a decrease of about $68,000. That, again, is due to the declining business done during the quarter. So there's not a lot of outstanding payables after the quarter because the club was closed. Outstanding debt does decrease by your 3 monthly payments made during the quarter. See a decrease, we're looking at the right-hand column, $377,000 from the year-end balance. And then your total changes at the bottom, $124,000 rounded. That agrees to the total change at the midpoint of the page in the right-hand column. That's what, again, we call it the balance sheet. Just briefly reminding you what page 2 is doing. This is another picture of the statement of financial position, but it's shown by department with the trust, regulatory, security, transportation in separate columns with an elimination to the consolidated number in the right-hand column. That right-hand column agrees to the first page we just looked at. This allows you to see a lot more detail should you be interested.
Okay, can you skip to page 3 then?
Page 3, yes sir.
That's the important page.
Yeah, page 3 is the important page. So, let's go through this a little bit, and then I'll even go through it more when we go to the actual versus budget on the department basis, if you would like, or you can stop me at that point. On a
I will probably
all
stop
four
you.
departments shown.
Dan, I will probably stop you at that point.
Okay, all right, this is the third time to go around. I agree. All right, I'm gonna start in the middle of the page, wondering, well, you know, the club was closed, how much money did we save? What was turned off, who was sent home, et cetera? Well, there's a subtotal there at the halfway point called total operating expenses. Take a look at the actual column on the left, the budgeted column in the middle, and then the variance column on the right. You can see there is a savings. $334,000 was saved during the quarter across against what was budgeted for the quarter. That's 17%. So it is a significant savings for the quarter. The problem is the top section. Go back to the top section and see the total revenues break. The first column is expected, or is the actual, excuse me, 2.565 million, and then budgeted 2.990, a difference of $425,000. So we had $425,000 less in revenues, primarily in food and beverage, because the cafe was shut down significantly, and the events were completely shut down. So $425,000 less came in the door, and that $334,000 that was saved is great, but it still produced, you know, we're going back to the halfway point of the page, still produced a $91,000 operating deficit for the quarter. Okay, that's because the lights and the AC were still on. The insurance still had to be paid. We still had to maintain the facilities. We did more cleaning, not less. So folks were running around, scrubbing things, spraying things, et cetera, for the whole quarter. And you know, especially in Q2, when we were all wondering what this COVID is about. So hopefully that'll wane a little bit, the amounts of money spent on cleaning supplies, et cetera, during the second quarter, and we won't see that kind of deficit. Plus, the operations, that top section, the revenues, are starting to recover in Q2. But this is what it looks like globally. The break right there at the midpoint is really the totality of your operations. The next section is just covering your debt service, which doesn't vary. Management fee doesn't vary. Interest income is varied a little bit because interest rates are starting to drop due to the pandemic. And then one little $5,000 item, which is a revenue inflow. Since you're wondering why it's in the board approved line item, that's an inflow, a donation from a club. I believe it was lawn bowling club to perform a capital improvement that had occurred in the prior quarter. So the net in the bottom right-hand corner, $86,000 and change off budget.
Deficit to budget, correct, Dan?
That's in a nutshell. Yes, sir.
It's a deficit to the budget, correct?
Oh, that's a very,
That's a deficit to the budget, with the middle column being the budget. That's the negative variance.
So if I was to look at my operating income versus my operating expense, just so everybody understands, I had a 90,588 negative variance to the budget or income loss from operations of $90,500, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the main reason is because, as you said, food and beverage and event revenue and other revenues were down basically by almost $425,000. And any savings that we would have received for not providing those services, quite obviously, when you look at revenue versus cost, your revenue is always going to be higher. Therefore, we can look at it that we basically had $334,000 of, I'm going to call it savings, but that would produce a $90,500 loss to budgeted dollars. So by being closed, there really was no cost savings to budget for us being closed during, or partially open during the first quarter of 2020.
That's right.
Okay.
And it really does show that, you know, the impact of these activities that you guys have with the, you know, the food and beverage sales and the events and everything, they really do contribute to keep the assessment at least, you know, at a minimum, if not lowering its some.
Yeah, and I just want to understand, so the community can understand, because just because we're closed doesn't mean we're saving a lot of money. We still have operations to perform and still have to do the daily tasks and keep the buildings operational. That we really did not save money during the, we saved, but we also lost more revenue than we saved in operating.
Well said.
And Dan, I appreciate you doing a high-level report.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions for Dan? Hearing none, Dan, thank you very much for taking the time to call in and going over the first quarter results. I very much appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and sign off so that I don't distract anyone.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, there is no other items on new business, and I will open the call up for good and welfare. Remember, you have to *6 to unmute your phone. Yes?
Hi, Jack. This is Vicki Ryan with Bedford A. I have a question, and I don't know where it should have gone in the meeting. I don't know if it should have been in the forum or if this is the appropriate place, but I'll be quick. David Westmore sent this letter, and it looked like it went to all member association presidents. Was this forwarded by First Service to us? Well, it came from his address. So
No, it was not. It
I'm
was,
trying to figure out where this.
came directly to my understanding from Mr. Wetmore. I also, as president of Tremont, also received it directly from David. It was sent originally to Keith Wilkins. Keith responded to him. The Federation Board was aware of the letter. The letter was never sent to the Federation Board. And then I believe Dave sent it to the presidents in the community.
Okay, so then just to clarify, the Federation, and to the best of your knowledge, First Service didn't pay for this mailing, so either Acadia 2 paid for it, or the Dave Wetmore guy paid for it himself. And I guess my statement, because it's public, I would like to state that, but if any Kings Point money went to pay for this, I'd like a refund to Bedford A and Andover I, because this is a personal letter from one person to, I mean, this could have been asked in a phone call. This, and anybody that knows how the Federation bulk contracts work has the answers to the questions that were asked. So if any of our money went to pay for this mailing, I'd like it back.
I can assure you that no Federation or
Whoever happens to listen.
no Federation or First Service money was spent on the mailing of that letter.
Great. All right, thank you.
I paid for it. I paid for it out of my own pocket. I paid for this postage and nobody else. And so just to be very clear, no money other than my own personal money was used to send that.
Good. Thank you for the clarification. Any other good and welfare?
Mr. President,
Yes,
Mr. President, can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dal.
Good morning. All right, good morning. This is Del Dewar, and I believe, I'll be very quick. I do believe this falls under this good welfare category. We all just heard all the votes that were received and also all the contracts did pass. We heard of the individual associations that voted no on any or all three items, or those that did not submit their proxy at all. As a president and as a homeowner in this community, I think it was a very selfish and immature thing for these presidents to do if it was for personal reasons that they voted no. It's also very concerning to me, and I hope that everyone else also feels this way and realizes that the presidents who didn't vote or voted no are either on the governance committee or were on the contract committee for the First Service contract. contract and cost our community $12,000. While I realize my association doesn't fall under this contract, I voted yes, and I hope a lot of other people did too as well, for the reason that we knew our neighbors needed that service, so they needed our vote. And why would anyone vote no on the budget when it reflects a decrease? If someone didn't understand an item and wasn't clear, I would think an email or a phone call would have helped them understand each item that we were voting for. This type of act behavior will not bring unity to our community, and it is not what presidents should be working together.
Okay, Del, I
That's
appreciate,
all I have to say.
I appreciate your comments, but they're really out, beyond good and welfare, but I appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr.
Yeah.
President,
Yes, Jane?
Jane Norton, Nantucket too. I would just like to respond a little bit to Joe's comments, because I don't think anybody that uses their vote to vote in their good conscience should be called out. Number one. Number two, I do have dumpsters in my association, and I voted no for one reason, that none of the 69 associations that are going to be paying for this are listed in that contract.
Did you raise the question, Jane, when you got the contract, did you raise that question to the contract, to Mabel or the Federation?
No, I did not.
Well, if it was such a concern that you would vote no on the contract, why wouldn't you raise that issue?
Because the contract is deficient, and I have a right as a president and a fiduciary duty to my association not to vote if I so choose.
I don't disagree
And I
with you.
resent called out for a no vote. I think it is totally inappropriate.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
shut,
have a contract.
Jane, I am going to shut this conversation down. It is not good and welfare, as I told Dell. This is beyond good and welfare, and I'm going to shut the argument and the conversation down. It is not good and welfare.
Thank you.
Okay, and I will tell you, I resent being called out by another president in a membership meeting.
Then I suggest you take it up with that president.
Duly noted.
That it is noted, and I suggest you take it up with that president. Any other comments on good and welfare? Hearing none, then I will adjourn the meeting. It is approximately 10:55 a.m. And thank you for all attending. Appreciate your time.